not separate the two, so we have to do it
What do you
ourselves.
mean? That's my software.
Yeah, your software is getting old and sort of feeble, and it just, and so now we got to do it manually. We got to do it right, yes. Well, what were you saying anyway about Jesus?
I said down that I talked to Jesus, and he said, "You better quit drinking so much, boy, because you're gonna break some more of them ribs." You know, last time your daughter was here, you still haven't recovered from that one, have you? No, you know. But here's the thing about
you hurt your shoulder then, right? What all did you hurt then?
Well, if people want to know, they can look it up. Yeah, it's a little hair. Well, right.
Oh, he fell on his face.
Right. Now.
But now he fell on his ribs.
Yeah, that's not too good, man, especially on the chair. So getting back to what I was trying to say in the first place is that I've been studying this religion thing ever since, you know, I was a kid, and I personally, I don't know why this happened. It's just one of those things that happen in your life, is that some very serious things happened when I was very young. You know, like your brother dying right in front of your face, and your mother going, ah, and your father going, why did this have to happen to me? So the point I was trying to make is that drinking is not a solution unless you know what you're drinking for. And of course, her background is entirely different than mine. Cowboys, yeah, the Indians were pretty much out of it by then, right? That's all they did. They hung out together. So you can't blame your parents, you can't blame your mother, father for how your life turned out. Now, I don't blame my parents for sending me to, you know, Lutheran grade school, Lutheran high school. But I said, finally, I said, I am not going to a Lutheran college. And you know what? I didn't. And neither did my cousin, or, so we didn't. You can only, you know, go so far, and then your kid's going, what are my parents doing? So anyway, getting back to what we were talking about, I'm sorry I called you at 4 o'clock in the morning. I knew I wasn't dying, okay? But I was in serious pain. I don't know what my threshold of pain is. I figure after being married 4 times, it's pretty high threshold. But that hurt. And the only reason I did it was, you know, I haven't talked to this friend I've known for like 10 years or more. And I said, you want to come down and get wasted? And he said, do I have to bring anything? I said, no. Okay, so that's the end of that story. So that's how I ended up calling you at 4 o'clock in the morning. I apologize for that. And it won't happen again because the pain. I mean, Jesus Christ, holy crap. You know, if I don't have a couple of cracked ribs in there, I'd be surprised. And another thing about the doctors really don't do it. They might, you know, strap you in a little bit, but they can't do much for that.
Are you keeping track of the time? The second one?
Yeah, right.
Well, let me tell you, I think many of you know that I don't like dealing with an old alcoholic. You know, it's just...
yeah, but I'll tell you one thing. She likes dealing with those young alcoholics. Those are the ones she
when I
can
dealt
try
with
to
young
straighten
alcoholics,
out.
I dealt with, in childhood I dealt with a father alcoholic, but in old age, I'm having a tough time dealing with his alcoholism, you know, because
I'm not having a real good time with it myself, tell you the truth. Holy
I think
crap.
hasn't life got any better in store for me?
Oh.
How come I've got this companion? I can't find any better companion than this old alcoholic.
I know, you tell me
People
that
don't
every
believe.
day you
Well,
come down
why?
there.
Because he discusses Lutheran. He knows that Jesus was a scene, Is that the way you pronounce it? And he, you know, he's very intelligent at one time. He's lost a lot of that, but
so
he
made me
let
start
himself
laughing.
fall.
He was very intelligent at one time. Now, see, that's funny to me. I would start writing that down. But now, it's not that funny anymore. Because my ribs, even breathing's becoming a problem. I don't hope it punctured a rib or anything like that. No, it wasn't that bad.
And I need someone.
See, I don't know if I could handle this one.
Extraordinarily.
She is a funny woman.
He's extraordinary. Yeah, he gets my jokes. And he's, you know, I'm a big reader. I was always very bright in school. I don't, you know, my IQ wasn't a genius level, but it was up there. And I was, you know, one of the brightest young, well, Utahns. And, but unfortunately, I was born to skeptics. My grandfather and father were both rebels against religion. So I grew up in Utah, but I was being influenced by these two, and the religious ones in my life were not near as powerful as the two, as my grandfathers and father. My father had two sisters that were very religious, and that's who had me going to Mormon seminary and going to church every Sunday and every church meeting in sight, and she didn't allow me to express doubt one. Well, for 2 years I put up with this, and she was obviously going to reform me and undo the damage that my free thinking father had done to me.
And how old were you now?
I was 13, 14.
Okay,
but what she didn't realize is that I was going to start rebelling if she wouldn't let me express any doubts. I was going to leave her household. And so I asked my mother to bring me down to Salt Lake and among her relatives who I thought were real religious, but it would be a change. Well, I got with a grandmother who I found out had rebelled against religion too. I didn't even know this. And she played rook on Sunday instead of going to church. I mean, if anybody mentioned going to church to her, she'd say,
rook?
Rook, it's a card game, and she'd say,
is that the one that's got the
I'm just too sick to go to church. You know, I don't know how many years she'd been too sick to go to church.
Well, I don't know.
I found that probably a well-kept family secret that she was an old rebel. I didn't know she was an old rebel. Well, see, I lived with her for a year, and we never even went near church.
Your idea of a rebel and my idea is not a rebel at all. See, I have...
Well, at least she didn't have me in church every 5 minutes. You were trying to get away from that. You said, I had to go to church, and so the rest of your life you never even got near a Lutheran church, right?
I got married in a Lutheran church.
And that's it. They've never seen it. All they've seen since is his
I got married
dust.
twice in a Lutheran church. How's that grab you, folks? One with the 6 kids, and this was back in Mission Beach in California. And when I was thinking about going back into selling, you know, Lutheran insurance, and none of the kids had been baptized, and neither had, you know, my wife. And so one Sunday morning, all 7 of them up there, we're going to have a baptism today, folks. We start out with the women, and this one, and this one, and this one, and this one, this one, this one. And to this day, those poor kids think they're Lutheran. I don't know if they go to the church or not, but they got baptized in the Lutheran church. Now, getting past that stage again, this is very interesting because now I'm not laughing so much. Now, see, whenever this woman starts laughing, it just makes me laugh. She has one of those contagious laughters, you know, like, well, you shut the hell up so I can...
Well, see, I think he's one of the Lutheran stars who, very intelligent guy, very talented, playing the piano when he was just a kid, and very good looking, everything that you'd want. And they lost him. The Lutherans lost him. And the Mormons lost me. I said at 20 years old, I said, I can't be treated like this anymore. I'm going to leave this state.
You forgot about
so I proceeded
how I was singing in
move out of Utah.
The St. Louis Boys Choir.
Oh yeah, oh, in the voice choir he could sing too. And what happened? The Lutherans lost this guy, and right to this day, you know, they lost him to alcoholism. They lost him to education. I don't know what, you know, higher education. I come in, he's watching abnormal psychology. You can tell he's been educated, so-called, you know.
Well, I'm trying to figure out what they did to me in those days, you know.
I come in, he's always watching, he always watches abnormal psychology. He watches Bill Moyer. I've got him watching true crime. He protested, but he didn't want to watch. But this morning,
yeah, as soon as this is over, we're going back on it because I'm recording.
A pastor and all that robbed all the parishioners. I said, look at this guy. And he goes right in, and is able to fleece all this flock.
And we told you that's what flocks are for, fleecing, right?
Fleecing,
you can only kill a sheep once, but you can fleece the crap out of it. Fleece them. Oh,
but anyway, you know, we're just examples of two religions that let us go, you know, as incorrigible maybe, or what, that we weren't able to conform to the religion. And probably because of, I saw my father, and my father was an alcoholic. I mean, he rebelled and got into the same thing he did. And I looked at that and I thought, well,
never rode a horse
if I rebel, I am not going to become an alcoholic, because they just ruined all their arguments, staggering around like my dad did, you know, staggering around, passing out. I said, who's going to listen to an old drunk? I told him, you know, his nephew was a very brilliant guy, and I said, he'd have been president of the United States if he hadn't been an alcoholic.
Yeah, right.
I mean, he's so smart. And
what has smart got to do with anything?
Smart, intelligent, good-looking.
That's the guy we just watched on television. He was smart,
yeah, right.
good-looking, but he was also a psychopathic liar and a felon. So he knew how to get, you know.
Anyway, I had to try to improve on my dad's rebellion. I thought and my sisters, I tried to tell them, oh, you can't throw out all your principles with rebellion. You've got to have something to live by that's stronger than what you're leaving.
That's right. It's I always try to teach my stuff.
Or otherwise, nobody's going to pay attention to you. They're just going to think you failed. Well, so you've got to live your life. And I thought to myself, well, I need to live a good example. Even at 81, I need to quit sugar. That is my big addiction. And a lot of religious people are addicted to sugar because they didn't realize that it was as lethal as it is. So I thought, well, I can give up sugar because that's one of my vices. I knew it. It's been one of my vices my whole life that I've had a really tough time giving up. So I give it up, and I am waiting for him to give up alcohol, but I don't know if he can, because alcohol is a very, very powerful addiction, especially when you've done it for years. It's got a grip on him, and he's suffering right now, but let's just see what can happen. And now we got to say goodbye to you.